Hey everybody, it's time for another iCan Cafe video session with Mr. C, your technology coach. So today I think it's important to give you a little more background on this wonderful application we call Pages that we've pushed to you. Okay, you'll see it right there on the desktop if I click it. There we are. Today I'm really going to focus on graphs, charts, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to open up a document, blank document here. I'm going to get rid of this and we'll start from scratch. Let's just assume that you have a document already and you need to enter a chart. Maybe it's for math. Maybe you're doing it for history or science, most likely. There's several classes for which putting a chart or graph or something in a Pages document would be a good idea. Fortunately, it's really easy. Now, I know a lot of you already know how to do this. I'm going to focus more on the advanced options with graphs, some things that you might not know about. So let's go up here to the plus sign and we're going to add a chart. Alright, once again I think you need to keep in mind if you're going to be printing it that especially if it's a Drew, it's going to be grayscale. So be careful about a bunch of 3D color stuff because that may not show up so well. So I think it's always a good idea to sort of default to a grayscale. I'm going to pick a bar chart. And I get a bar chart and say, all right, well, let's edit the data. And it flips it over. And so you want to say, well, okay, I'm going to say, actually, let's go back over to the graph and take a look. Looks like region 1 and region 2 are the two color bars, and looks like the dates are down below. All right, so let's flip that over, edit the data. I would like to add a whole other category. I'm going to make this like apples, oranges, and pears. Okay, and we're going to say that this is how much per year here. And I can add as many as I want. I can go 2013 as well. 2 really bad year for 2013. I'm going to say done, and we'll see that again you will see 3 bars by year representing apples, oranges, and pears. Now watch what happens. I can also change that around, and instead of the bottom x-axis being the years, I can make it the fruit. So if I click on the graph, edit data, and I go up to this little gear thingy up at the top, I can say plot columns as series instead of the rows. Right now the rows, the fruit, are plotted as the series on the x-axis. Watch me change that. I'm going to go columns and say done. And it'll flip it around. Now if you notice at the top, instead of the fruit, you've got the years, and the fruit show up on the x-axis. So depending on how you want to present this, obviously for some graphs this won't make sense. But it depends on how you are instructed to present the data. It's pretty easy. Again, your options here. If I go back to the plus, you can change a lot of things. There's all these types of charts. You've got colors and 3D and all that stuff. Be sure that you choose the right chart. If you're unsure, make sure to ask. Okay. While my chart is selected, I want to go one little button to the left up at the top called the paintbrush. If I click on the paintbrush, I have this option down at the bottom called Chart Options. If I click Chart Options, there are several things I can do. Number one, I can turn on the chart title. And if you see that the word title appears, and all I have to do is then double click on that, and I can say, fruit, or whatever else you want to call it. Done. Fine. There's my title. If I go to Chart Options again, there's legend. If I turn that off, notice what happens is the years go away. You probably want to keep a legend, but it depends on your choice. I'm going to leave it off for now. Border, whatever, text size, chart font. There's a default. You can change that. I'll let you play around. Chart type. Okay, value of your labels. Okay, where do you want them to be? Ooh, look, I can put the numbers right on the bars. How nice. You can put it in the middle. You can put it on the bottom. You can put it outside. There's a lot of things you can do to change this. Now watch what happens also on the x-axis. First of all, category labels. Okay, usually you want those on. Okay, series names. We're going to turn those on, but yeah, that looks a little bit messy. Let's leave that off. Label angle. Ooh, let's go left diagonal. All right, there's all kinds of stuff you can do here. Major grid lines, I'm going to turn those on so that you can see more grid lines. And the title, okay, category axis. Notice at the bottom now you see category axis. I'm going to double click that and say fruit. Done. Now if I go up here to the paintbrush and go y-axis, I can do the same thing. I want to have major grid lines on, and I want the title to be on. Okay, and I go here and I can type amount, whatever you decide, and it puts it on the y-axis. Very important if you're making graphs. There's no excuse not to have a graph that has all of the components that your teacher wants to see. So be clear on the instructions, and then make sure you understand that between the plus sign and the paintbrush, there's really nothing that you can't do. Okay, as a matter of fact, while my graph is selected, under the plus sign, oh excuse me, I'm sorry, under the paintbrush, if I go down to chart and chart options, I can change the chart type. So right now I have column. I say, yeah, I want column, but this time I'm going to go stacked column. Okay, doesn't look so great. Let's go back to, oh, actually I wanted to make it a bar chart instead of column. And you don't have to go back and redo the graph. It just repositions your data as a bar chart. And again, you can't switch necessarily between every different type of graph, but there are several that you can and not have to redo the data. All right, so there are a lot of things you can do. Again, I can resize this. Okay, I can then move it anywhere I want in my document. Okay, so play around with this and do a good job. All right, make sure that the graphs and charts that you produce are appropriate to the task, and that they are professional looking, and that they tell the story that you need to tell to make your lab report or essay or research paper really stand out. Okay, and the best way to do that is either to seek help or be very clear on the assignment instructions, and to understand how to use Pages. Very, very important program. One last thing, I'm going to go back to my documents. Here's the document I have. If I hold my finger down on that and I go up to the top, okay, actually I select it, and up to the top on the left, the square with the arrow, if I click that, oops, what did I do? Okay, square with the arrow, I'm going to email that document to myself because I'm in Pages. Pages is something that obviously you cannot open on a PC, and let's say you need to print it at school. Notice if I email it to myself as a PDF, it automatically turns it into a PDF and puts it in an email. I can email it to myself or to someone else, call it up on one of the school PCs, whatever, and print it out if I need to print it out. Or if you need to turn in something to Turnitin.com, you can save it as a Word or PDF, email it to yourself, and do the same thing from one of the school computers. So you can do all the great work that you do on your iPad, great formatting and charts, and make it look really professional. Send it to yourself in a format that can either be printed or turned in to Turnitin.com depending on the assignment, and you're all set. Just remember these things, ask for help when you need it. I think that you will be pleasantly surprised with how well you can do your assignments. All right? Let me know if you have any questions. Always happy to help. Have a wonderful time exploring this great program, and we'll talk to you on the next iCAN Cafe.